give up alcohol, I can be the next Iron Man.
Yeah,
That's the best sales pitch of all time.
But what I'm saying is that when you
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Modern Flirting Podcast. My name is Cosmo.
And my name is Jared.
And we have a very special guest today, one of my really good friends who has inspired me, who is crazy in all the good ways, and this is going to be a really fun podcast. Justin, how you doing?
Great, man. Quick trip up here from Orange County.
I was talking to you about my the things that I go through, my vices when I get lazy. Basically, Justin is my personal fitness trainer / motivational coach / every time I slack off, he sends me videos and threatening calls and says, "What the fuck are you doing, bro? Get your shit together." And yeah, man, we just met recently, right?
Yeah, it was what was it, over the summer actually?
Yeah. And in West Hollywood, by the way, guys. No.
What does that mean?
West Hollywood? Like it's where all the
Don't look at the Florida boy.
No.
Okay.
No. West Hollywood is this is gonna start bad.
No, go ahead. Say it.
Say it. Well, basically West Hollywood is kind of where a lot of
Bad people are?
no,
That's
not
what it
bad
feels
people.
like. Very bad people.
How do I get myself
You
out of
touched
this
my
one?
thigh when you said it, so I was like, I think I got where you're going.
Are you messing with me, or you really don't know?
I must be naive.
West Hollywood is where a lot of the gay people live.
Cool.
That's
why I met you there.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like you knew, and I just ran into this.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, not at all.
I must be naive. That's okay.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So
Wait, why'd you tell me to move to West Hollywood when I come here?
For no reason.
It's
What are you
all
talking
coming
about?
together now. Jesus, all right.
So yeah, for
Well, we were pool partying though.
we were
In
at
West Hollywood.
in West Hollywood.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a pretty small suit on too.
You did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that why you came over?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Because of what you
I'm
were
starting to
wearing.
learn a lot about this West Hollywood
I'm
place. Yeah, and I'm not
guessing-
originally from out here, so this is I'm learning things.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say you seemed like you had really great energy when you came over.
Wow, just being me, dog.
Yeah, there you go. See? There.
Yeah, that's one of our openers that we use to teach guys when they approach women.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is a thing that I wanted to get into real quick was a little bit of your backstory and your journey, and then I wanted to get into how we met, and so we could start there.
Cool.
So a little bit about your backstory, because you
Can I
have
take a wild guess on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because every major coach I've seen is always have that classic like mess to success story, myself included.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a wild guess and say you struggled with
Mess to
fitness.
success all the way, dog. Yeah.
Every great coach has that story. Yeah.
So look, yeah, I guess it really isn't that. I don't really think anybody's story is that unique. And the more I learn about people, like I'm like everybody thinks like they have this like crazy unique way that they found where they were, but really it isn't. Usually the outcome tends to be more unique than the actual story that it really was. Really, I came from a really good home, really successful family, and dad that built a massive company at a very young age. I was set up to take it over, and I just couldn't keep my fucking face out of the plate, and and both the plate and the mirror actually, and it was just like constant binging, whether it was food, booze, coke, just anything that would give me like this immediate instant gratification. It was like I just had to have it, and I would go back and forth from being fat and in shape and drunk and loaded, and my family just kind of thought, oh, it's a phase, it is what it is, and then just life starts to spiral. And it would typically be, and it was funny because like you think like trauma, right? Like you're like, oh yeah, like I had traumatic events. I had a really good upbringing. Like I didn't really have any traumatic events. So really the only thing I could ever think about was like, I was just like shitty relationships or like me just, tripping over my own cock. Like it was never like, it was never, I had, endless resources. So what was it really? It was me being an asshole and just not, it was an instant gratification thing, to be honest. That's really what it really was. And it was constantly chasing that dopamine fix. And whether it was drugs, women, anything.
So this is my psychology background side coming in. I'm very curious on this. I'm guessing that's not the way anymore, obviously. Like,
No.
right? So is it like a personality trait, like a nature thing? Or did you just condition yourself out of it? Like, I'm curious, is there still a piece of that in you now that's like, I want that gratification, but there's just so much discipline that stops it? Or did you just remove that from your personality?
Wow. No, that's good. So I think when you get to a point of hating yourself, and especially when you become obese, that's like when you look in the mirror and you're just in utter disgust, right? And you go through first, what would be for me was a massive body transformation, right? I went from being like 350 pounds of just disgust to, where I'm at today, where I'm, people pay me that want to look like me, which is kind of neat, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool flip. Yeah.
but total flip. So really initially it was like I hated the man that I saw in the mirror so much that a switch just had to flip in my head. But then the discipline started happening. It was about creating habits. But through that, I still struggled with addiction. I still struggled with shoddy relationships. I still, so it was like you take 3 steps forward with your physique, but you take 5 steps back with your mindset.
Yep.
And it was like that constant, until I had the physique, but my mind was so fucked that I once again was looking in the mirror and hating the man that I saw.
When you say your mind was fucked, are we talking like depression, or are you talking about
Anxiety, depression, addiction, suicidal tendencies,
right.
everything, all of it, just like the compound, whatever, and it was just like a mixture of all of it. And ultimately it ended up being a point of feeling, suicidal. And that's when it was like, can I just tell a quick story?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why we're here. No, it's not about you.
Yeah. So this is kind of back in the day. I used to go to, so my family's in the car business, right? And we would go to like a lot of like dealer events, retreats, and things like that with other big dealers, family car business folks, right? And there was this one cat that was like the life of the party. He was like always like the coolest guy you've ever seen. And he was known for never drinking, never doing drugs his entire life. I don't think he ever had a drink in his entire life. Wow. He'd walk into a room and everybody, he was like super good looking, super respectful, great body, ran marathons, got testicular cancer, beat it, had a set of twins, got colon cancer, beat it, had another set of twins. Like, just like, I mean, like you're talking about a guy that was like upper echelon human being, like somebody that you just like, when you saw him, you were like, I want to be that dude. And I can remember I was going in and out of a bathroom with a couple of my other homies, and like we were doing blow, and we'd come out and we'd be like all fucked up. And I remember he came up to me specifically and he was like, Justin, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, you have the world at your fingertips and you're going to fucking blow it. What he said never once even, what he said didn't matter. I didn't even change me at all. What changed me was his eyeballs. What changed me was how clear and white and focused his eyes were. And to this day, I remember his eyeballs being like so dead set and so focused. And I was like, I want those eyes. I want to be able to look at somebody and undress them, not physically, but just make you feel like you are less than what you should be. That you could be so much more just by the way that I look at you. And it didn't fix me right away. Life went on. Things happened. Fell down another rabbit hole. Instant gratification, drug addiction, depression, alcoholism. But it stuck with me. Yeah. So like through years, I was like, I want this. I want to be able to be that. And then when I hit my true rock bottom, it was like, I will fight every fucking day of my life to have that again. So that's really what it was. And it took me a second to really realize that.
Do you feel you needed to go to that rock bottom to get where you are today?
I think everybody does.
Yeah. Every amazing thing, we've talked about this in earlier episodes, every amazing thing that has ever happened in my life has come from me hitting some kind of like rock bottom or some incredibly stressful situation. And looking back, I appreciate it. But at the time, you're like, this is the worst thing in the world.
And also what you're saying is that your childhood, right? Like you don't have the typical childhood, which is you have a very good dad, you came from money, so that your childhood was good, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So a lot of that, and let me know what you guys think about this, I feel like without that adversity or trauma or any kind of darkness, we see this in a lot of kids that their dad is a celebrity. And maybe they might have a great relationship, they have the money, but there's a void there because they've never had to claw through anything. They don't know what it is to lose.
Is that called affluenza?
They have everything.
Isn't it called affluenza?
Yeah. Do you feel that any of your clients or anyone watching, because you said something that was really important right now, do you feel like people can learn from watching someone else go through a really dark time without them doing it?
I mean, I think everybody has a different rock bottom, but I think that everybody personally has to reach that. It doesn't necessarily mean that my rock bottom was in a penthouse apartment, but it doesn't need to mean that you're living under a bridge. It's just when you're at your lowest. For me, it was $12,000 of nitrous oxide deep with a pistol in my mouth. I mean, if that tells you how fucking
Pretty
serious.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, like Steve-O level shit.
Yeah.
And that was it for me.
Man, my rock bottom sounds nothing compared.
Don't ever talk about your rock bottom in front of me again,
I was
Jared.
about to say, I was gonna show you this. I got it because I knew you're coming on, so I wanted to prep this. This was my rock bottom. Was a year ago. I went to Tulum with this gentleman, and I started seeing pictures of myself, and like it just hit me in a way of like I was hiding from the pictures. I'm like, Cosmo, I want to get it from this side up, whatever. I want you to show. There's 2 photos you can swipe, but this was
maybe
me a
Brent,
ago.
we can show this to the audience, the pictures.
Oh wow.
That's one, and you can swipe the other way. See the side.
Oh yeah.
And
You've been a good client.
Yeah. Right. So see, because I've been obese my whole life.
Yeah. No, you look great now though.
Oh, thank you. I'm still going. It's still a journey. I'm like, I'm swinging back and forth, gaining a little bit. Like, nope, got to keep going. But I've always gone away with it, whether it was with humor, with women, with joking, with
The funny fat guy.
funny fact. Yeah. And you can play that, right? And I was able to show that, like, oh, even as a dating coach, it was almost good for marketing of being like, look, I'm the fat guy still able to get the girl. If I can do it, you can do it. So I made an excuse of that.
Well, yeah, self-deprecation is like your safest bet, right? Usually. But it's such it just exposes your insecurity like no other. Because we know.
It's when it's the pictures. It's when I'm seeing it, especially in beach type stuff. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And just like how you had one memory for Jared, it was me texting him that picture saying, are you ready for Tulum next year? And all it took was me texting him that and him in Florida looking at that picture going, what happened? And that was the low point for him where he was like, oh, okay, no, this is enough.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? It always comes down to like one moment that we remember. Just like one moment that gets stuck for you as a guy who had very clear eyes. Which I'm assuming when you said that, clear eyes, I thought to myself, are you saying that because you can feel he was present in the moment?
Correct.
Okay, because
what they always say is like the opposite of addiction is connection, right?
Yeah.
And like when you meet somebody that was that connected with a person and could literally stare me down and make me feel like I could be so much more just by the way that he looked at me, and it stuck with me forever.
Yeah, I feel a lot of people that are struggling with talking to women or are kind of like stuck in the past, which usually brings depression, and thinking about the future brings anxiety. Like a lot of our guys that we coach, they're stuck in their head. And we constantly tell them, if you can have 2 minutes of connecting with someone, like looking at the girl going, this girl takes a shit just like I do. She burps. She's a human just like I am. Let me try to actually connect with her. And we do an exercise called Wonder, Observe, Perceive. It's like an acting drill where you look at someone and you really try to wonder what they're thinking, what they've been through, because it gets you out of your head.
Sure.
Just like what you were saying, that connection. It really gets you out of your head. And, I feel like that's really powerful. Male ego. This is something I'm very interested in talking about. The male ego and how our society has, I feel, and we might disagree on this, Justin, so let me know what you think. that there's an imbalance right now with what a man is supposed to be. And there's like two different ways we can approach it. Men are not allowed to be vulnerable. You have to be stoic. Do not show emotions. Don't do that. It's weak. Then there's another school of thought where it goes, why not? Showing vulnerability is power. I don't think it's weak at all. One of my favorite fighters in the world is Mike Tyson. We've seen him cry in so many interviews. What are your thoughts as a coach about vulnerability and the male ego?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we have a lot of guys now that like feel the need to be so alpha and so, you know, tough and strong all the time. And they definitely lack vulnerability. Okay. Vulnerability is a very good thing. I think it opens up a lot of doors, especially for connection. The problem is and I always look at it like this, almost everything stems back to instant gratification. And I think that so many people, if you look at it this way, we deal with so much debt, so much addiction, so much obesity, right? So much anxiety, depression, and all of the other things that we're constantly looking for something to numb us, something to, so whether we feel sad, we feel some type of way, we have to drink. The problem is you can't pick and choose what you numb out. You can't say, oh, I'm feeling sad, so I'm going to drink and I'm going to numb out the sadness. Well, you're also going to numb out the happiness, the joy, all the other great things. And especially you're going to numb out the vulnerability. So you're completely closing the gate to all of the great emotions that you could be feeling because of your desperate desire for instant gratification. So I think that, you know, that's where it really boils down to, is we lose opportunities for those. Vulnerability is one of the greatest connections that you can have with somebody, you know, and going through what I went through and being in, you know, I went to treatment. I went to all of the, you know, I still to this very day go to AA, and you're talking about a group of people who thrive in sobriety off of their own vulnerability, off of their own story, off of, and I think that that's one of the most powerful things that we have. But again, people feel the need to be so alpha male, so dominant. But at the end of the day, most of them are just bitches.
Well, all right. So if we all agree on this, it's going to be a very boring podcast. So let's say I'm just going to take devil's advocate right now and go, that sounds good, Justin. But, you know, I listened to Andrew Tate, and he said never be vulnerable because that's a bunch of what bitches do. And I've listened to the Red Pill Manosphere guys who are like, no girl wants to care about you being vulnerable. They don't give a shit. The moment you get vulnerable with them, they're going to go fuck some guy behind your back because you're acting like a weak bitch according to them. So
well, Andrew Tate can say whatever he wants because Andrew Tate's Andrew Tate, right? I mean, and that doesn't make him right or wrong, but he has the capacity and the resources to do whatever he wants. He can have whatever woman he wants. He can have whatever, you know, whatever he desires, right? But the problem is he feeds this shit to guys who cannot. The vast majority of Andrew Tate listeners are chubby, soft, self-conscious, already in a relationship. You know, so he starts talking about things like body count. And we had talked about this once before. Yeah. You know, the guys like this that feed this shit to them, whether it's right or wrong for them, a lot of the people that take this perception on, it can be dangerous. Because they'll start looking at it and they'll be like, oh, well, you know, and then they get self-conscious about their girlfriends or their wives. And they're like, well, how many guys has she slept with? And is she thinking about them while I'm with them? And it's like, dude, most guys in that situation, especially guys that like thrive off of listening to that kind of stuff and puff their chest and make them feel all fucking cool, they're bitches.
Yeah, Jared, you're a bitch. Take that, motherfucker.
I mean, it's true. I mean, like, I think like the average, I remember seeing this somewhere, it might have increased, but like the average body count a man has somewhere between the age of 20 to 50 is like 10.
What?
Yeah. You got to
really
average?
The average.
No.
Wait. I'm confusing this with cold approaches. It's 10 cold approaches in a lifetime.
Yeah.
My bad.
Cold approach meaning that cold approach for us means that if you can walk up to a girl you've never met before, that in our opinion is one of the biggest fears that most guys have. Is if we went out, I said, Matt, there's 4 girls over there.
Go talk
to them. Most guys can't do that. That would be cold approach. So
Yeah.
that's what that stat is right there.
Which astounded me because we've done thousands upon thousands of cold approaching and whatnot. But these are a lot of
Just
guys.
go talk to a woman.
Go talk to a woman. Like the average amount of
Yeah.
guys who approach a girl they don't know, and their average is 10 approaches. So most guys
In their life.
in their life.
Oh, Jesus.
So most guys will either just do online dating, or they only meet women through their friends or some circumstance. That they're in,
I see.
like they're in the same class together. So it's like, all right, I'll talk to this girl because she's my science partner. Whatever the hell, right? But a lot of guys will bitch out when it comes to this. I've had guys in the Marines, guys who've been to war. I got one guy who was in special ops. He was in an anti-terrorist unit, and he was scared to go approach and talk to girls and go do this stuff, right? So a lot of these guys, they look at women from a very far off distance. It's just whatever's in their sphere. And they'll hear these, the Andrew Tates, the Red Pill, these manosphere guys talk about this kind of stuff. And they're like, well, I'm not meeting any women, so let me just make more money, go to the gym more. And not there's anything wrong with it. Of course, these things matter. But it's not like, I made an extra $1,000 today, therefore a girl's knocking on my front door.
Right.
Like, that doesn't...
I think that's the perception too that they think that they're going to have, which once again is not realistic. Some of these guys are living in la la land.
Yeah. Have you seen like the guys who will get they'll spend, God forbid they spend money on mentorship and coaching or whatever.
Self-improvement. No, I don't have the money for it.
Of course not.
We're going out
$5,000 for the
tonight,
table.
$5,000 for the table.
Yeah.
We got that.
Yeah.
No problem.
And it's all dudes.
And they just
Yeah.
stand there and they're just standing there like, women will come. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. This is good.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why, God, why?
If you build it, they will come, right?
And they don't come.
They don't come.
They don't come.
Nobody comes. They don't
No.
come. The guys don't come. Nobody's
No.
coming.
No, just more dudes come.
More dudes come.
That's how I met Cosmo.
And you know what the promoter says in West Hollywood?
At my bottle service table. And I don't even drink.
No. Literally, honestly, we're not actually joking. I walked up to him, and
It was just me and my girl. We had a
and
table
Liz-
right
and-
next to the pool. And
no lie. I walked up to him, never met him before, and started talking to him.
cold approach.
Yes, right?
Tall, jacked up guy, really confident, beautiful girl, 5 bottles, no one's at your table, and I walked up and started talking to you. And that's part of my art form. What I do is I like to be social. I talk to anyone, men and women. And just because I decided to talk to you, we have developed a friendship. You're on this podcast right now, and it is dealing with my ego. Like, what if I walked up to you and you're like, "Shut the fuck up, get out of here"? Then I'm like, "Oh God, okay, that was weird." But it was. I mean, that dynamic, how we met, was really, really funny.
Do you remember his approach or like what he said or your feelings?
Yeah, I think you at first, and I think you asked me how much a bottle service was, and I was like, oh, all right, well, and I was like, I think I said, I don't know, and then you were like, because and that was like my own insecurity because our original table was like off of the pool, and I was like, this fucking table sucks, and I was like pissed off about it, and so I like talked to Taylor, who was now a client of mine too, and he ran that specific party, and
I think I know Taylor.
Yeah, he's a DJ cat. He's a great dude. Hopefully he watches this. And
Yeah. Shout out to Taylor.
What up,
What's up,
Taylor? Yeah, he's a client of mine too now, and we've stayed friends ever since then. And I was like, hey man, this table sucks. Like, is there a better table? And he was like, yeah, well, there's one left right. Remember where we were? Like dead center of the pool. The best.
You
table
had
in the
the
place.
best table in that pool party.
And he was like, but it's like so and so dollars, and it's got like, but you get like 6 bottles. I was like, well, I don't even fucking drink, and my 110-pound Latina girlfriend can handle like 3 drinks. I was like, but fuck it, give me the table, and we'll just we'll have fun, and whoever walks by we'll just party with. But truly, that wasn't even how it ended up happening. You had come up to me and were like, hey, like, do you think like how don't you get this? And I was like, I don't know, man. Why don't you just party with me? And it was just like it was just easy. It was just an easy connection. Again, what I say, like you lose the addiction, you suddenly find connection. So it was like very it was like very easy for us to just like drum up a friendship, and then it was cool because you were friends with.
So here's how life works, right? So first and foremost, how many guys would walk up to Justin, beard, jacked up, you're tall, you look intimidating, right?
Yeah.
And here I am, like, hey, so we're trying to get a table. How much did you pay for this table? But it's just a willingness. It was a willingness to connect with someone, to go out.
Yeah.
And so then
It was authentic as fuck, man.
Authentic. We really were trying to get a table, but in the beginning, if I'm to be honest with you, you were closed off with me, right? Like it was like minimal words, right? Like it was like 1 word, 2 words.
You know what? I don't think that was what I was intending to be. I think I was a little anxious.
Oh, okay.
I think I was a little anxious.
That happens so much, by the way, when like even with girls, you'll think they're being bitches and they're being closed off or whatever, and the reality is like they had the anxiety.
Yeah, no, it wasn't anxious about the interaction. I think like it was like our table was getting moved and like all the shit was getting moved over there, and I was like hoping like everything was gonna, because I'm like I'm an addict, I'm a control freak, so I'm like, right away I'm like making sure everything gets set down properly. I'm like, okay, where's my towel, where's all, you know what I mean, and then somebody approaches me and I'm like, don't fucking talk to me right now, because I'm like trying to like make sure my shit's tight. Yep. But then again you broke down that wall right away, and I settled down, and it was really cool, and I think and like I said, ever since then we've been friends,
and it was an organic thing that happened after this. So then you had no idea who I was with, and you knew my friend, and everything happened organically. And so I, walked up to Justin. We were talking, and then my friend is in the Breeze weightlifting. What do you call it? Like what?
Well, he's Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, he's my friend. I should know this. Just
a little 2-time Mr. Olympia bodybuilding champion.
Yeah, my friend Breon. Shout out to Breon if you're watching this. Won Mr. Olympia twice, and then I was like, "Oh, Justin, this is my friend Breon." And then you met him, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you guys started connecting from there. And then
I just saw him the other day.
At the expo, yeah.
Yeah, I had a booth at the expo, and he did as well. And we were like right down the way from each other.
And it was all just love after that. And a bunch of girls came to the table. One girl got really drunk and started tripping over. And it was a great time. But my point is,
we got really drunk. Awesome.
My woman got wasted. It was something.
Yeah, I mean,
Akon hung out with us for a little bit.
Akon was there. I mean, it goes back. It goes back to like our point on like what we coach is like when you go out to a social gathering, how many people can actually walk up to strangers and build a connection, make friends like that? It's a really rare quality. It's usually you make a friend through another friend. But can you go out anywhere, dog park, library, Starbucks, club, lounge, gym, and walk up to someone and talk to them? It's hard.
We used to. I remember being a kid. When you see kids, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
That childlike just, hi, I'll be your friend, what's up? And then somewhere along the lines, we're like, puberty go, oh, being rejected would suck. I'm going to like not do that.
Which is what leads me to the point, the male ego.
Yeah.
Or even ego in general, actually. That thing, that ego that is like terrified of being embarrassed or humiliated. It stops so many people from achieving their dream.
Yeah, well, also like just a fear of succeeding. I mean, really, your ego gets in the way of everything.
So that's a good question. As a coach, how do you identify the difference between fear of success and fear of failure? What are like the symptoms or warning signs there?
That's really strong. So it's funny because I usually can break that down with dudes. With women, it's a lot harder. Dudes, like when right away, because I'll be like, hey, I've noticed that you haven't made it in the gym at all. And I'm like, I'm guessing something else is going on. And they're like, well, I'm like, we fall into our vices, we fall into this, and they're like, no, man, no, the diet actually is going really good. I'm like, okay, so why are we not making it into the gym at least? Like you're doing all of these other things. What's going on? Like, oh yeah, it's just. I'm just afraid of, and they'll literally tell you eventually if you just keep like breaking down the wall. But you kind of know right away when all the other pieces are connecting except one. And if there's like one piece that's just not connecting, and it's like, okay.
What do you think I am? Fear of failure or fear of success?
Oh, wow.
Let's make this podcast controversial. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, what are his big fears?
You know what? I will say this that I know about you is that you do trip over yourself when it comes to the instant gratification.
Yeah.
Typically a fear of success.
Yeah. Like you feel I'm scared to be great because I would have to live up to all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So then you kind of dilute yourself and that.
Because even when
that's why I get on your case, because the thing about you is like I look at you in such high regard. So I'm like, when I see like, okay, you're out having a good time in Tulum, and I'm like, okay, well now it's carried into Miami, And then I'm like, okay. And then now I already know you're back in fucking LA. So I know you better be back to work. Right? And that was like day 3. I'm like, okay, motherfucker, like it's time to go. Let's like, what are we doing, man? You've been back for 3 days. You're bowling. You got a fucking IPA in your hand. And no way, there was nothing at any time that I ever issue you an IPA. I issued you ground turkey and rice and water, ample water. And you know, I'm like, okay, man, this is enough. Like, and that's when I finally stepped in and I was like, okay, I've seen enough. But yeah, I think it's your fear of success.
I think we touched on this when the only time in my life I've been famous for 12 months when I got off the reality show. I talk about it a lot. I thought that it was everything that I always wanted, and it was the worst year of my life, dude. When I got, you know, the fame, the recognition, the power, it was. Yeah. I retreated and talk about self-sabotage. I was like, let's go, and I had anxiety, panic attacks. And it was dealing with.
Well, that happens a lot, dude. That happens a lot with bodybuilders, with marathon runners. Like they finish the race, and then it's like, where do I go from here? You know.
I loved Arnold's answer. Have you ever seen Pumping Iron?
Well,
that documentary, and they're like, "Oh no, you're already on the top. You have nowhere else to go but down." And he's like, "Or I can stay right here." Like, this guy's a fucking top. Like he's awesome.
And that's why, like, you know, they talk about guys like Tom Brady and like Michael Jordan and guys that like keep coming out of retirement and keep, you know, continuing because it's never enough. They're closers. Right. They want to continue to close. They want to continue to clean up, and they want to.
Would you say that's an addict behavior?
Or 100%.
Oh yeah,
100%. I mean, really, anything can be an addict behavior, right. But you know, but yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But even Michael Jordan says it in The Last Dance. He says, "I'm an addict of winning. Yeah. I am competitive on like a massive addictive level."
Right, 100%.
Tim Grover, actually, you got me on Tim Grover,
yeah,
and I've been obsessed with him.
And winning.
Jared is slept over my house the last week, and what do I wake up to every morning?
What we wake up to every morning is a little bit of Tim Grover, followed by a little bit of Baby Shark. You know, I had my own mix to the equation there. I think a little helps. I don't need Baby Shark, but
he plays
Tim
Baby
Grover.
Shark to annoy the shit out of me. But one thing I will say to defend myself right now, Justin, is that even though I do go partying, and you can ask Jared because our job is to go out and talk to women, I'm at the gym the next morning.
Okay.
We finished a retreat, and I was at the gym while, you know, Jared was watching porno and sleeping. I was at the gym.
At the same time?
Yeah, he does it at the same time.
You know, there's sleepwalkers, there's sleep porno guys. You know,
but just reading your facial expression, do you think what I said is a cop out?
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell because you just gave me that expression.
Well, I think if you really enjoyed what you were doing, I don't think that you would need to numb yourself at all. Mm-hmm. I think if you were really enjoying the success of what you were doing, then you wouldn't need to enhance it. You wouldn't need to make it better by consuming anything.
All right. Well,
so are you saying? Oh, hold on. Are you saying that? So I'll take out the alcohol, but I can still go out and be social and be out till 3 a.m. What we do is we have to meet other women and we have to get our guys to meet women. Mm-hmm. I still have to go out and party and be in the atmosphere till 3 a.m.
I do that all the time. You see me do it all the time.
Okay,
I drink club soda. And then I wake back up at 2:30 in the morning, do my 100 push-ups. I'm doing cardio at 5 a.m. I go out all the time till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, got it. So you're only talking about the actual alcohol.
Yeah, I'm talking about, I think that you could easily, if you really enjoyed this, if it was something you were truly fulfilled with, you would not need to enhance it. You wouldn't need to consume something to make it better. And if you do, then you need to find something better.
Thoughts, Jared?
My instant thoughts, I'm not even playing devil's advocate on this. I'm going to give you some pushback on it, is okay. I will like to be successful at certain things, right? So whether it's going out talking to girls, whether it's running a company, whether it's managing the staff, whether it's being good as a coach. And I feel and we can argue maybe not totally or whatever, but I feel very fulfilled. I do love it, but it's one of those things that is a stressor. So it's like, you know, I do like I'm sure you like going to the gym, but it works on your body, and then you get that fatigue where you want to rest. So it's a very similar feeling of I like what I'm doing, but it does cause stress to be that on and to like really push all these different avenues that the rest becomes, all right, I want to chill out or have a drink or relax or do something. Oh, yeah.
Well, I get that. And that's how most people are.
Right.
Most people need to have a drink after work or need to decompress.
Right.
I still challenge you on that.
Sure.
I still think that, you know, there's a healthier way to handle it. And I still think that truly, if you were fulfilled, you would not need to numb. I don't think, that's really what it is. Whether you're enhancing or numbing, it's the same thing. You're either, it's not good enough, so you have to make it better, or you're not enjoying what you're doing, or there's something standing in the way from your true fulfillment, so you need to numb it out. And again, it's just a matter of like, you know, everybody has a different perception with this, but I just think that if there's one thing that's standing in the way of your success, you know, and you could be as successful as you want, but I'm willing to bet you, and I've yet to meet somebody that has said, I wish I didn't give up alcohol. I wish that my life would be better off with alcohol. My life would be better off with a substance. Most people have actually found a lot. I mean, look at Robert Downey Jr. Was the largest franchise.
Give up alcohol, I can be the next Iron Man.
Yeah,
that's the best sales pitch of all time.
But what I'm saying is that when you get rid of your vices, and when you get so focused and so fulfilled in what you're actually doing, and so consumed in what you're actually doing, you find that you don't even need that at all. Which is why I do go out. I have the time of my life. We go to clubs, we go dancing. I get bottle service all the time.
What do you do? Did you just give it to homeless guys? That's it?
Yeah,
What are you talking about? He's like, Al, Kaz, come on, let's go. Come out. I'm like, I got you, bro.
Like, I do it all the time. I have a great time. I drink club soda. I dance. I have more fun than most people do because my life is truly fulfilled. I don't need it. It's not important to me. Do I recognize that I would probably burn my life to the ground if I went back at it? Of course. But I then otherwise I would avoid it altogether. I actually can go and have a good time. So that's what I'm saying.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about YouTube interview? I've seen it over 100 times. Ed Milet and Tim Grover, where they're two very high performance people. But if you can YouTube the interview, Ed Milet and Tim Grover, they're both drinking. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we're going to have another drink. And these are very high performance people. Mm-hmm. And even throughout the interview, they were both drinking.
Extremely isolated.
He says that there's no way you can be a high performer, a cleaner, without feeling isolated. He said that in the interview that Ed Milet was at a mansion.
No, I'm talking about that scenario is very isolated. I'm saying that is an isolated situation. I'm saying the vast majority of people cannot perform at that level and
I hear you. Because you said isolation. It's funny that Tim Grover called out Ed Milet and said, how many people are in this mansion with you? And he's like, I'm by myself in a huge mansion.
Well, I mean, how many people are not drinking with you out there? I mean, that's isolated, I'm sure, but that's where you can thrive.
Yeah. I mean, usually it's like 60-40. So, 40% of people that I'm with aren't drinking.
What if we take away the drinking, the drugs factor? I mean, would you say you ever watch TV or Netflix?
Very rarely, but again, like, dude, I mean, you know me, I'm like literally always on my grind. It's if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So I mean, I'm literally always on my grind.
So how do you decompress? Do you have your own still vices to this day, or just everything's productive?
I had a little bit of a retail vice, but that's about it.
Retail vice?
I got a little bit of a retail vice, but that's about it.
That's impressive. I mean, yeah.
But again, it's just me taking my addictive personality and going in the other direction, you know?
Do you feel like someone didn't have an addictive personality that they would be able to balance the alcohol or just going out like that?
Yeah, but I don't think it's about balance. I think that this is about purpose. And I think that if it stands in the way of your purpose, if there's anything that does, then, you need to go in that direction. Personally. Balance is for pussies.
I obsessed. Yeah, I agree with that.
I do. Like, our dynamic is, and even our producer Brent, like, people, what we do, like, our videos and we coach. They're like, bro, do you always have this much energy? Like, they've slept over my place. I wake up, just massive energy. I feel that I do live with, I don't know what it is, dude. Like, just, I mean, you guys hang out with me a lot, so you know, I don't know what it is, but like I become obsessed with something and I want to chase it. No matter if it's 3 hours sleep, I'm like, Jared, let's go. There's like a thing in me.
Well, you definitely have purpose, man. We both know that. And we've talked about this a lot, you know, and it's funny because like, you know, I think that you're a talented actor, right? But it seems like you've taken your career in a different direction quite a bit, right? And you're passionate about it and you're really good at it, right? You found something that you're really good at that you can use to help people, right? Which is your purpose. So, I mean, now you just got to realize what would stand in the way from you being the greatest at this.
What is standing in my way of being the greatest? Okay. That's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I feel very exposed right now.
Do you feel you've peaked out, or is there new?
I got some
next greatest version of yourself, or
no, not at all. No, I you know, I mean, whether it's physique, whether it's coaching, whether it's how big I want to grow this business that I've taken from a very small scale to a very large scale in a very, very short period of time. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm just going to continue to do exactly what my routine is. I live one day at a time, but I just stay right to the plan. And the plan is like literally the same routine, the same calls to action, the same process over and over and over again. And I just continue to gain audience. I just continue to and do the right thing and show the fuck up. And if anything stands in the way of showing up for your people, and as coaches, we know this, like if you're not living this on the day to day, you will be exposed eventually. You will. There's no question. And if you get exposed in that way, if you don't show up, or if you have a few moments of weakness, it starts to weaken your brand. And when you start softening your brand, you become irrelevant in this industry.
I feel like you talk about your traumas a lot. You talk about like what you've been through.
No shame in getting vulnerable, right?
Yeah, I mean, you do that quite often. Like you talk about in your IG videos. I see you talk about like the stuff that you went through, and I think that I'm like that as well too. Other people open up when they realize how fucked up you were, where you came from, the demons that you deal with. Other people now do not feel isolated. They feel like, oh, Justin's going through that? Okay, so I don't feel that weird.
Yeah. And I'll even talk about the things I struggle with still to this very day, you know, and it's usually silly stuff. If you've seen some of the ones that I like just piss me off that I have to do, I'm like, why do I even have to fucking do this? But like, I'll whatever I'm feeling, I usually keep my shit in real time. And, you know, I mean, in my storyline is pretty much where everything is. And I have a, you know, relatively large following in my storyline, and it's like cult. It's become like cult. People just have gotten to know me, and then, you know, when we start talking, they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm really talking." I'm like, dude, who the fuck am I? I'm nobody, you know. But they're like, they just get into it because I literally like live it on the day to day and try to come up with creative shit still on the formula and still on the plan. And then when it gets down to it at the end of the day, when I'm like, call to action, I need 6 people. I'm looking for 6. I get 12. And it's like always, like no matter what.
Clients, you're saying?
Yeah. And I, you know, six turns into 12 and by like 9 o'clock in the morning.
So let's get to the juice, because I know myself and all my other fat brethren out there want to know. Like, everybody obviously talks. What I was interested with yours when I was researching you.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about nutrition. I get it. Eat steak and chicken and veggies and cauliflower rice, whatever. Everybody talks about working out. You know, work out your muscles. Maybe do some cardio, do yoga, do powerlifting, whatever. Mm-hmm. But what I liked was also the mindset element as well.
Yeah.
So if you're a guy like me still on a journey where it's just like, oh, I got to keep going, I'm not there yet, or a guy just starting off, what do you change your routine, your thinking patterns? Talk to me about the mindset that will get somebody from fat to fit who's struggled their whole life.
So specifically, weight loss transformation is what you're talking about. So yeah, okay. So, you know, the math isn't very hard, right? We eat less calories than we burn throughout the day. Right. Okay. With the correct, I believe macronutrients are the best way to do it. And it's your percentages of fat, your percentages of protein, and your percentage of carbohydrates that equal out to what the amount of your calories are, which should be in a deficit. if you watch the scale of somebody who's fat and it's not at a decent pace, declining, then you got to start to ask questions, right? What fat people, one, we give up very, very easily. It's like one of the biggest things with fat people is the fastest thing they do is they give up. They just quit. They lie to themselves, right? And obviously eat out of comfort and boredom. So the biggest things too is one, find out what they're really doing. Because if that scale's not moving, then they're not staying in their deficit. There's no fucking way. And I have guys that are 100 pounds overweight and 26 days go by and I'm like, you lost 1 pound in 26 days. You're eating 2,300 calories. You weigh 350 pounds. No way. What's really going on? So I had a cat the other day that was like, well, I'm like, what, I'm like, are you, I see you're scanning all the food, but you're not scanning everything. What the fuck are we missing here? And he said, well, I have coffee creamer in the morning. I said, coffee creamer, scan the coffee creamer in. This coffee creamer had like 40 grams of fat. And I'm like, how much are you pouring? And he's like, well, I pour like a good pour. I'm like, okay, well, the serving size is like 3 tablespoons. So are you pouring like half a cup? Yeah, half a cup. Okay, so you can do the math there. Okay, so how many cups of coffee are you having? Well, I'm having like a pot. So you're having a fucking pot of coffee with a half a carton of coffee creamer in there. So you're doing all of this and you're eating like 2,000 calories of coffee creamer. He's like, well, it's good coffee creamer. It's like artisan. It's like this. I get it from Trader Joe's. It does that.
Organic, bro.
I said, listen. I said, organic. I said, listen. Here's your fucking artisan coffee creamer. What I want you to do is order these fucking mason jars. Okay, I want you to take these cool mason jars. Okay, and I want you to take almond milk or oat milk. And then I want you to fill them up this far. And then I have these 3 different types of protein. They're super yummy. You can have red velvet cake, chocolate chip cookie dough. You like that, right? You're 350 pounds. You love. I mean, I know I did, right? Okay. You have
fat fuck. Eat the cookie dough.
And you have blueberry muffin. Fucking A, like blueberry muffin, right? And he's like, yeah, I like blueberry muffin. Of course you do. So you have all these, okay? I want you to take the cool artisan mason jars. And I want you to mix the protein up in there. They're really, really good protein, right? I want you to put them in there, make them look really cool, mark what they are and all of it, set them right where you would put your artisan Trader Joe's fucking coffee creamer that's causing you to stay the fucking same forever. Sure enough, coffee creamer thing, gone. He fixed it. Just by like something, taking the time out of his day to like literally like do something extra to like take his mind off of like the convenience of grabbing the coffee creamer and splashing a whole bunch of it in there. You have to handle each fat person in their own case by case situation. Everybody has a different weakness. And this cat, his shit was coffee creamer. The weirdest thing I've ever had to deal with so far. But literally, if you really dissect it, you ask enough questions, you keep pinning them back. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? The truth comes out eventually.
Hypothetically, let's say
I know where he's going with this.
Hypothetically,
I know where Jared's going.
If I had a friend whose problem wasn't coffee creamer, but it was sushi.
Oh.
What advice would you give to that guy?
Dog.
And bro, we don't want to point any fingers on who he's talking about because that would be really
hey, listen, I get it.
That would be mean, right, Brent? If we point our fingers.
I wouldn't want to point any fingers, but if I had a really close friend.
Anytime we go out, what is it? Sushi. Anytime, sushi. Where's sushi?
I get it. I
gotta say a little bit better than coffee creamer. I'm not having 2,000 pounds or whatever of sushi, but still, yes.
Well, I mean,
3,000, but who's counting?
Listen. When we're fat, we're addicts just like anything else. So like moderation, it's for me to say, oh, well, you can have it in moderation. Like, what's the reality? Okay, I know when I go sit down for sushi, it's going to cost me $200 at least. Yeah. And I'm going to crush every single roll. I have 2 rainbow rolls in one sitting, no problem.
Yeah.
So you got to limit how often. Yeah. No, that's just rainbow.
That's wrong.
That's just the rainbow rolls. That doesn't include everything else, right? So like, I mean, I think if you stay in your macros all week long, right? And like I always say, like you can blow your entire week with 2 days of like shitty eating, right? You could nail your macros Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday come around, and you're like, well, I had a great week. I'm gonna like, whoa, football Sunday, beer, and all the shit. You just blew all of it. Like you just put it right back in, right? You live one day at a time, accept your calorie count. That counts the whole week. So, I mean, if you just have one cheat meal, not a cheat day, and you just go off on your sushi. That's what I do. And a lot of times too, like, I'll do that like on a Sunday, like where I'll go off on because sushi is my weakness too. So yeah.
Get it.
You know,
Get it.
Listen, I get you. Yeah. We're more relatable than you think.
Well, I'm working on it.
He's getting there.
So Sunday night is when I'll usually do my sushi, or Saturday night, and then Sunday will come around and it'll just be like, bang, a huge fucking leg day out because of all those carbs, all that sodium and everything. You're just feeling really, really strong. So you take like your weakest muscle group and you would train that the day after something like a big sushi night or whatever. But the problem is that one big sushi night can't lead into
another sushi.
The next night.
All right, but surely I could just go keto and then eat whatever I want keto as much as I want.
No.
That's what the ad said.
Yeah.
Why would it lie to me?
You did research me, didn't you? Look, man, it's not sustainable.
Right.
It's just not sustainable. I mean, the thing about it is like, we want to be able to live a normal life. We want to be able to go out and go on vacation. You going to eat keto on vacation?
Probably not.
Probably not. So the minute you reintroduce starchy carbs and all that, your cortisol, you're going to be fucked. And you're going to come back, you're going to gain half the weight back just on vacation, and then you're going to have to figure out how to get back in the swing of things again.
That's one of my I've been on vacation for over a month now. I can't escape this vacation.
Yeah, well. So the way I look at it as a macro count is, mom drops you off at the mall with $100, says don't spend it all in one place. You go straight to the shoe store because you got to get the new J's. You blow the 100. Later on, your homies want to go to the movies. Well, guess who's not going to the fucking movies?
Right.
You got to live your life that way. You're budgeting.
Now you're talking to my Jewish self. I got. I got to count.
All right.
So,
I have a question. Do you think it's possible for an overweight person to be truly happy and fulfilled?
No.
Okay, well, that's all the time. Nice and simple.
No. I mean, you're constantly self-conscious.
If you have settled in life, I'm going to open up Pandora's box real quick because I have to push back a little bit. You know how they say ignorance is bliss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
So, yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're ignorant, then you don't know any better.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So you're just naive and blissful and like, okay, this is how life's supposed to be. I have people in Florida, family members or friends, old friends, that they're overweight, right, Justin? And it doesn't seem to get to them. But then I look at what they want out of life, and without being rude, I just have to say it. They don't really want that much out of life. They're really cool with 55 grand. Yeah, 55 grand a year. I have 2 kids. I'm gonna work 9 to 5. That means I wake up at 7 a.m. to get to work by 9. I get out of work at 5. With traffic, I go home at 6 p.m. They talk to their wife for about a good 2 hours, and the kids half an hour. Then they go to bed.
I think there's a difference between being cool with and accepting.
I never said they're cool.
But your question was, could you be happy and be overweight and be fulfilled and be overweight? And the answer is no, because you got to realize that you have this like glaring amount of like health issues ahead of you. And if you don't know that, ignorance is not bliss in this situation. Wake up and feel your body. It's not right. I mean, you're not where you should be. Okay. Yeah. What's going to cause effect on the rest of your family members having to deal with you. And when you're overweight, when you're weak, when you can't pull yourself out of bed, when you can't do things later on in life, I mean, so you're fulfilled in the moment while you're eating a taco, or you have a life to live and you know this. So like ignorance can't be bliss when you can literally feel it, see it.
You're not ignorant of it.
You're not ignorant of it. It's constantly looming over you. So it has nothing to do with appeal. It has nothing to do with aesthetic. It has to literally do with your actual health. It's a made-up illness. It's something that we bring onto ourselves, and it's so easily treatable.
I think it's simply treatable. I don't know if it's easy.
Simply treatable.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I know, but I somebody who went through it, I'm like, it is not easy, but it is that simple. Eat less, move more, be consistent. I wouldn't not say it's easy going through this, but yes, it is literally that simple.
The remedy is simple.
Yes.
Sorry, I misspoke.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying.
This is a safe space, right?
How do you, because really it's not that easy. I mean, what did you do to build up that mental toughness? Because that's the stuff that really intrigues me. Like, obviously, here's a diet, here's the exercises, get at it, fatty. It really is that simple, right?
Yeah, well, and literally that's it. You know, the biggest thing and what I always preach is that you do take guidance, and that you do, you know, just as us coaches, we, you know, I'm sure we've all had a coach or have a coach, and I keep a coach, and I know exactly what I'm doing. But the accountability and you know, literally having set goals, and then, but the one thing that I hate is when people set goals and like their vision is like, this is where I want my weight to be. This is where I want the scale to be. Because you do that, and either you get burnt out, or when you get there, you end up flipping back the other direction. So really, the focus needs to be daily, one day at a time on building habits, right? So we build the right habits. We pick the right foods throughout the day, and then things start to get easier, right? There's been situations where, like, you know, I'm dealing with a chick right now. And she's also in recovery. So she understands the concept of one day at a time, but she's having the hell of a time going to the gym. So I'm like, you know what? Just show up to the gym every day. Just show up. You don't even need to work out. Like, just show up. Like, just go. Walk in. If you don't feel like it, walk out. But just go every single day. Just show up. And, you know, eventually, you know, it's like, you know, today she actually went in. I looked at the app. She's like, oh, yeah, you know, I actually got a good workout. And I'm like, of course. Show up again tomorrow. And it's just like what we learned.
Have you ever done that though? You just showed up and you're like, nah, and then walked right back out. Like, did that ever actually happen?
Yeah, in my addiction, yes, because I knew that there was something in my truck waiting for me. So no, but no, I mean, you know, I get a lot of enjoyment out of going and getting in my headphones and going. You know,
what do you listen to when you work out?
I listen to the most brutal metal that you've ever heard in your life.
You gotta, yeah.
I saw a reel people like listening to Disney music, and I'm like, who the hell listens to
psychopaths?
Yeah, psychopaths, right?
You think they listen to what I listen to?
Yeah.
But no.
Need that.
No, I listen to like really, really hardcore metal. Yeah.
When I went to the gym with you, whenever we went with you and your friend, your client, they had the coolest old school 90s hip hop music. And in my head, right when I was about to be like, bro, I love this music at the gym, your friend was like, this music sucks. What is going on? I'm like, oh shit, heavy metal crew over here. That like old school Ja Rule. I was jamming out with you guys. I'm like, I'm feeling it. Your friend's like, this music sucks. I'm like, oh, okay. So I just had a couple final questions for you. Nature versus nurture. They have a wonderful documentary on Netflix where it was three, I believe, brothers. I don't know if you guys saw this before. Three brothers that have never met, and they met when in their late 40s or something like that, and all were raised by different parents, and all had drastic different results. One of them killing himself, the other one healthy marriage, kids, all of the above.
Were they twins? And
they were twins. Three of them.
Triplets. They really were the same person.
Yeah, they were. And so, well, that just hit me. Sorry. I went back to my mom thing. So the documentary was about like the trauma that one of the guys went through and the abuse that he took, and then the other one, how nurturing the foster dad and foster mom were, because they were all foster kids. And the documentary opened up a floodgate of debates. Nature versus nurture. Now, if you say that nature will always win, then I am destined to fuck up for the rest of my life. So I hope that's not the answer, because that's basically the way that you're genetically hardwired and you can't do anything about it. Nurturing would be having friends like Jared, going out with you, Justin, nurturing the new people that you have, the movies that I'm doing, being nurtured by this stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
You want me to go? Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And then let me get your thoughts, Jared.
I have so many thoughts on that but yes.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's crazy to think like somebody like me ended up being suicidal, right? I had everything. I mean, like literally everything. So, you know, I mean, and then you look at like guys like Anthony Bourdain, you know, and so many people who just had like these amazing lives, but then you have these guys that just get like run over, lose their jobs, wife leaves them, you know, whatever it is, and these guys just keep on, you know, they're like living in their mom's basement. They just fucking keep on trucking, you know, like you're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, blow your brains out, man. Well, not really, but
we do not endorse blowing brains out.
Guys,
do not do that if you're at home.
No, but you're like, you know, in comparison, yeah. No, but like, you just would think, right? You'd be like, dude, like at this point, it's like, you know, life has ran over you so many fucking times. How come these guys are doing it? How come I wanted to do it? And it's like, I mean, yeah, there is some like, I mean, there might be a little hardwiring in there. It's funny because to me, and just, you know, I'm more relatable to suicide, and I joke about it in that sense because I mean I it's like how, you know, when we're fat we can call each other fat, you know what I mean, like us suicidal people, no, I'm kidding.
Hey,
but,
Deathy, what are you joking on?
Yeah. Hey, Suey, no, that's fucking no, it's fucking terrible. Don't worry about me, Kyle. So no, but like
we're getting canceled from this episode.
No, but the times that like I was in a situation where I was facing like what, like it wasn't like life is terrible, I'm gonna blow my brains out. It was like either like a level of like super high like stimulation, right? Not like even drug stimulation, like just a room that was like really big, and then all of a sudden like the low just hit, and it was like, and I just found myself like in like, you know what I mean, like in that low, like ready to go. And it was never explainable. It was like, just like, it's like a way that, you know, the people are hardwired, and it's scary to think. I mean, and literally facing it, like it was like, people would ask me, I'd be like, I couldn't explain it. I couldn't explain it. Why was I on a railroad track? Why was I there? Why was I here? And I could never actually, like, it was scary to wake up in that situation and be like, what am I doing? And be able to actually pull myself out to the point where my brother had to save me the one time that it was actually about to happen. So like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's scary to think. I mean, you know.
Which one do you think would prevail that has more of a powerful frequency or energy, nurture or nature?
Well, I think ultimately, you know, with nurture, we can work through it. I mean, I think that there is.
Me too.
I think that we can ask for help, get the help, seek the guidance, get all the things, and make ourselves, we talked about earlier, vulnerable, and expose ourselves and put ourselves out there. We tell our story not just to help other people, but to help ourselves as well.
That was inspiring. Nurture versus nature.
I think nature is so cosmos fuck. No.
Yeah.
Here's everything I've studied and seen in the psychology world. This is a common theme that keeps coming up, especially in behavioral psychology. The idea of nature versus nurture. If you asked B.F. Skinner, the father of behavioral psychology, he'd say nature doesn't even exist. It's all nurture. He was actually famous for saying, "Give me any newborn baby and my own pocket universe to raise him in, and I can make him a thief, I can make him a doctor, I can make him a famous actor, I can make him whatever the fuck I want." It's all a series of conditioning, right? But then we get studies like what you're talking about, which are so fascinating, the twin studies, and we'd see that there are a lot of very similar personality traits. Doesn't matter, even at wildly different upbringings, right? So we see it again and again. And here's my ultimate conclusions based on those kind of studies, because that's why I said, are they actually triplets? Are they, because genetically, you're the same fucking person.
Yeah.
It is exactly identical in every way, shape, or form. The only difference between those people is their experience. It's only nurture, right? So what I've seen is nature doesn't determine who you are. Nature sets the parameters.
Sure.
Right? So like extroversion, introversion, things like that, whether you're more logical minded, more creative minded, nature sets these parameters, right? And then nurture says where you're going to fall in those parameters. So let's say the extroversion scale, right? It'll say no matter what you do, you can only get this much extroverted, and no matter what you do, you only get that much introverted, but based on your upbringing and nurturing, you fall there. So it's the parameters. So with that said, it makes no sense to even consider, think about, or worry about the nature aspect of it, because that's outside of our control. That's pre-written in our genes. So we may as well just throw that out the table, because it's out. Personally, I believe in, I don't like to think of something that's outside of my sphere of control. So now we go to the nurture element and go, all right, how do I set up my environment, my conditioning to push the boundaries of what those parameters are? So if I'm by nature going to be this focused or this successful, or I mean, success is a thing you get, not a personality trait. But if I'm, this much whatever, ambitious, naturally disciplined, that would be a good one. Naturally disciplined, right? There are certain parameters where some people have extreme ADD, extreme depression, extreme natural, like really mental disorders that stop them from discipline. But you can't think on that. You have to go, what can I do with my environment or medication or whatever the fuck so that I nurture myself to the highest level of that parameter? And people who want to blame stuff on nature, I would go, that's what a bitch is to me. Because now it's a cop-out.
Sure. Yeah, I accept that. I don't, that's...
So I see we're running out of time. My final question for you here is, how can people learn more about you? How can they get your help? Where can they find more?
Well, yeah, you can reach out to me at Instagram, Justin Wenzel Fitness, and then my website, justinwenzelfitness.com.
You said it really fast. We're gonna put it a little right there.
Put it underneath it.
Right underneath you can click this. And yeah, man, this is awesome. He told me
dude,
you were coming.
I love watching your stories. You're very inspirational. It's what I think a lot of the coaches what I admire about what you do is I feel you're very authentic and in not seeing like a perfect person and talking about your dark side, which is because of you. I'm addicted to Tim Grover. That's what he talks about, the dark side. And I think by doing what you're doing, I've already seen a lot of your clients have massive success is like owning that dark side and talking about these things that you went through. Because, at a certain fucking point, man, with social media, everything is fake. And everyone's perfect. And when you talk about your shit, it empowers other people.
Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
And for what it's worth, I can see the whites of your eyes.
No.
All right. Thank you guys so much. If you like this podcast, give us a like, comment on a section below. Do not forget to subscribe. Much love. Justin, thanks for coming in. Yep. Jared, any final thoughts?
No, it was really cool, and I hope to have you back.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Awesome, guys. Peace.